Hi,
Hi.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can see
Oh,
you.
yeah, it's great. It's great.
Great.
Okay, David, thank you that you joined to my conversation in Zoom. Let's first I give you the subject of our meeting. Actually, I'm CEO of Fintech platform. We are trying to buyers to send money abroad to Chinese suppliers and trying to provide solution where this cross-border payment will be look like easily, cheaper, and instantly. And we are trying to now talking with experts who has any experience in cross-border e-commerce to know what problems arise when some buyers trying to pay Chinese suppliers. If I correctly understand, you worked in the company, or maybe you are working at the moment in the company who import some goods from the China and to pay Chinese suppliers using any payment providers. Is it correct?
Yes, correct. So we have some items we buy from Chinese suppliers. We buy POS terminals because we're in, so we buy POS terminals. We also print cards, payment cards. So we buy the materials from our suppliers in China. Who are able to provide this for us, then we can personalize. Some of them, we personalize the cards over there, then bring them back to Nigeria, Africa. We do some integrations that enables the cards. But the printing of the cards proper, the printing of devices we work with, and sometimes when we're buying computers in large quantities, we'll also buy from overseas.
Okay, okay,
Are
David.
you able to
Can
hear
you
me?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm okay. I can to hear you. But the first, can you describe what the company where do you work for, and what is your position and responsibilities for understanding the subject of conversation?
Okay, so we're into payments. We're a bank, a new bank, but we also offer banking services offline. So we acquire merchants. We also acquire consumers directly. For the merchants, we give them point of sales terminals, POS terminals. Also gives we also acquire consumers directly who we give cards to. The cards enables them to make payments. So there are a lot of suppliers from China. It's a lot cheaper, and once we buy them in quantity, we can then do the personalization, the embossment, the card designs here in Nigeria. Then we give to our customers. Same for the POS terminals. We buy the hardware. As the hardwares are blank, we build the terminals are certified by the regulator here in Nigeria before we deploy them into the market. So that's basically one of the things we do. One of the major things in terms of hardware that we get for our customer from the Chinese market.
Why the buyers coming to you? I mean buyers who would like to import goods from the China. Why these buyers come to you, come to your bank?
Okay, so there are different consumer types. There are consumers who buy at low quantity, and there are also businesses who already established relationship in China. And when they want to make payments, there's difficulty in payments directly to the Chinese providers. So one of the things we do, because we already have contacts in China, we already have access to some suppliers in China, we have relationship with correspondence bank in China and across people that can terminate in China. And of course, it's a lot for them to come work with us.
Do you have any refund policy when the buyers to buy some goods from the Chinese producer, and these goods will come to the Chinese, and if will be some problems with these goods, the buyers would like to back these goods to Chinese suppliers. Do you have any refund policy?
Okay, so one of the things we consciously don't handle. So first, there are two models. There's a model where we buy directly from the Chinese custom producers, Also, there are cases where we just handle. So for a case that involves us buying directly from the Chinese company, we already have an e-commerce, we have a relationship with them, and then refund policy is part of the agreement we have with them. Now, for consumers that we handle just the payment aspect of it, it's just payment we handle for them. We don't handle the business SLAs that they have, but we'll always request for the invoice. At any point in time, you need to make a payment, we request for the invoice, because the payment narration has to go with the unique identifier, the invoice number, so that's less for reconciliation and tracking. So that's basically what we do.
I would say another model, you mentioned that you have two models.
Yes, the first model is one we buy directly from the Chinese companies.
Yes.
So we already have a business relationship with them beyond the payment part of it. Then there's a second leg where we handle the payments leg on behalf of customers who have already established a relationship with a company in China. So what we basically do is just to handle the payment, movement of money in FX position. That's basically what we handle on their behalf.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for explanation. In the first term, do you provide delivery shipping services or just payment?
So our company handles just payment. We're a bank. We don't handle delivery. So we don't handle delivery. The customer, when handling directly, does all of the logistics arrangement and provides us the invoice. We terminate at the payment part of it. That's basically what we do.
Okay, what's the maximum sum which I can to send Chinese suppliers as a buyer? Because I know in Nigeria a restrict limitation of payment in dollar. How much? What's the maximum sum which can I send to Chinese suppliers per month, for example?
Okay, so for per month, it's quite huge because first we're a bank, right? The fact that we're a bank, we also have the abilities to handle FX transactions, cross-border transactions, and also remittances, right? So for that, what we're able to do, we don't have a limit that tells us that you must transfer, you should be able to transact a maximum of $1 million a month. We don't have that. It's based on the availability because FX is readily not available. So for any business that is already in bilateral trade where you're able to source for your funds, then you can initiate those transactions. So for us, we have local sourcing of fund that we do, which is limited because there's limited FX in Nigeria at the moment. But then we have correspondence banks that we partner with where they can use their funds to share transactions, then we'll have a revenue split as the case may be. So we don't have limitations. All we ensure is that within compliance, we ensure we're sure that we verify that the orders are real. We verify that there's a common agreement between the buyer and the seller. We'll ensure that the invoice is provided and it's not part of the commodities that cannot be traded. Now, there are some commodities that we've been advised not to trade in terms of FX transactions. We intentionally don't trade on those commodities. There are 40 of them within the landscape that does not, it's not allowed, permissible for you to import or for you to export. So that's basically what happens.
Okay, if I will come to you for paying Chinese suppliers, what currency should I top up your bank account for sending Chinese suppliers? Should I top up by Naira and will you convert my Naira to dollar, or should I bring dollar to you already?
Okay, so for us, one of the things we do is that we receive the local currency. We accept, if you come with dollar, we accept. If you come with Naira, we give you the conversion rate, which is average of the parallel market and the bank rates. Then we also have cases where we know the Chinese market is they are very acceptable to crypto, to coins, to stable coins. So we also do some form of settlement in USDT and USDC. These are things that we can also do. So yes, beyond making payments in the Chinese yen, we're open to multicultural or multi-currency settlements, dependent on what the consumers want. For some of our clients, we make settlements to them, or we make payments to them using USDT or USDC. While to others, they prefer you just do the yen, move the position to them. So for us, because of relationship we have across different corridors, we have relationships in Canada, we have relationships in the US, we have relationships in the UK. You have Crown Agent Bank in the UK. Of course, we also have in Latin America. Allows us to settle transactions or handle transactions across multiple corridors, but we can't get to directly. So for us, we don't have licenses to operate in every part of the world. So we use partnership. We leverage with different providers and different brokers who are able to source for funds. We bring in the invoice, provide the compliance part of it. There's the business due diligence of every transaction, and then it is being done. Then, of course, there's a split of revenues.
Okay, you mentioned about the remittance in USDT, cryptocurrency, and stable coins. What country do you send payments in cryptocurrency mostly? Which country did you send cryptocurrency mostly?
So because most of the suppliers we have deal in multiple markets and have different franchise across different groups. Most of the times when we need to initiate transactions, USDT, USDC usually goes to probably the US partners or the Chinese partners, or itself. They have positions that we send to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is in China. That's where you have most of the factories. So yes, most of the addresses are in Shenzhen, and they're usually in US dollars. But to Japan prefers settlements, most SDC settlements. But the bulk receives the highest volume from us. They terminate through Latin America, Latin America and the US proper.
I'm asking because I know that in China, it's restricted to make any payments in cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So that's why I said the bulk of volumes go to Japan or through their franchise companies they have in the US or any of the Latin American countries. But for them directly, if you're sending to China directly, their preference is that you send in USD.
Why do you need to send money to send cryptocurrency Japan, US, Brazil, for example? Because buyers want to import some goods from the Japan, US, and Brazil, or it doesn't depend with the importation?
So for us, it's about the market. It's about, so if you want to make payments to us here in Nigeria, we have accounts. Dependent on the business decisions, we would have to provide you an invoice showing where you should make payments to. We also maintain offshore positions. So we have accounts in Delaware, in the US. We have accounts in other parts. We have accounts in Toronto, in Canada. Sometimes we need to float our position, and we don't want to go through the hurdle of moving FX from Nigeria to those positions. So we can give you any of our accounts, which can be validated in any of those places to fund our position there. And when we have a transaction to make, we most likely will not debit our Nigerian position for USD transactions. We'll just debit our position in the US, which is faster, which is more like a US to US transaction, or we can do in pounds, which is Crown Agent Bank. I don't know if you know about Crown Agent. Agent Bank is a bank that has access to multiple corridors. You can check them out in the UK.
What's the name?
Crown Agent Bank is one of the principal banks. Crown Agent Bank. Crown Agent Bank.
Okay.
So Crown Agent Bank is a very big bank that has a lot of corridors. Quite a lot with them also. They terminate and they help us handle transactions across multiple markets. That gives us that flexibility. And even when our account is not funded, there's a partnership that we already have. They can use their own funds for that transaction. And of course, they would always reconcile and have a share whenever they use their commercials. So the commercials are different. When our account is funded, they debit our account and credit to the beneficiary. But when our account is not funded, we have an agreement, which is more like an overdraft kind of arrangement, where they use their funds or they grant us credit. And of course, we'll pay the interest on that. So it's a business model we've established over time across the multiple markets that we operate in.
Okay, if me as a buyer, why should I come to you, and why do I need to make a payment in cryptocurrency? What's the reason?
So you must make cryptocurrency is not a must. Our default is, I mean, you want to transfer to yen to China. Our preference is that you give us yen. If you want to transfer, if you want to pay in USD, our preference is that you give us USD. So it becomes apple to apple. Then we'll just charge you the transaction charge, the transaction fee. But when you pay us to a currency, in a currency that is different, then of course there has to be conversion. And at the point of doing conversion, then of course we make our margins. If the prevalent conversion of $1 in Naira is 600 Naira, if you're using our platform, we can charge you 612 Naira or 602 Naira, meaning that we'll be making a spread of 2 Naira on that transaction. FX is not readily accessible in Nigeria. So many people who would want to trade with foreign partners, they don't have access to FX. So sourcing of FX is very hard, it's very difficult. So they can pay us in the local currency while we source for the FX, and then we can make payments on your behalf.
What is the name of your bank?
You what?
What's the name of your bank? What's the name of your bank?
Sorry. Okay. Aku. Aku is the name of the bank. Aku is the name of the bank. We also have a joint venture arrangement with 3 commercial banks in Nigeria that have access to all of this, that have multiple corridors. So it's strategic for us. We have the bank. We also have partnership with our banks in Nigeria, who are principal players within our space. So whenever we need to source for FX, we can reach out to any of them, because we're strategic in our partnership in ensuring that we have relationship with banks that have access in multiple corridors. For example, we are partners with one of the major banks that has presence across all the Francophone countries in Africa. We're also in partnership with banks that have presence in Dubai, in the US, and in the UK. So it's very practical, it's very strategic for us in ensuring that we had this level of access in our partnership, in our business models. What we can't do directly, we leverage on our partnership with any of these players to be able to reach the market and our customers efficiently. Okay,
what's the target audience? What is your main target audience which need to make cross-border remittance? How look like
the target? So for us, so our target audience for remittance, in honesty, has to do with there are people who are into spare parts, the electronics industry in Nigeria, parts they make from the Asian market. So they buy a lot of electronics from the Asian market. They buy a lot of mobile phones from the Asian market. So what we do is to be the payment provider for them, because they do imports of spare parts. They import electronics, they import generators, they import television sets. So there's that partnership. They import batteries, spares. So yes, that's a very great market. There's also the cosmetic market, the cosmetic industry. There are a lot of imports coming in from Asia also. So yes, these are 2 major areas. The phone market, electronics, I will categorize it as houseware items, cars, batteries. These markets do huge volume, and cosmetics. So yes, we have that relationship with them. And
your target audience mostly is from Nigeria, or your target audience coming from the different countries in the world?
So our target audience, first we start with our local markets, but then from our local markets, some of them have expansions across other markets. They have expansion across different rails across Africa, in West Africa, in Mali, in Senegal, in Benin Republic. We have rails across those markets, Nigeria. We also service some francophone. Just like I mentioned, the banks we've strategically partnered with, we have a bank that has presence across all the francophone countries. So we can take payments in cities, in Pessoa, and then we can make the movements in the preferred destination currency.
Okay, now what's the type of business which come to you for your services? I mean, I'm trying to understand, this is a business who want to buy some goods from the China and to sell on the local marketplaces like Jumia, or what's the type of business who come to you?
So there are companies that import. So the companies you see on Jumia, they are more like businesses. Jumia is an aggregator that has created a marketplace. So what they do is they buy from the source, they source from different areas, and they're able to sell on Jumia. So those kind of businesses come to us. In the local markets, offline, which is not online, offline, there are markets. So in Nigeria, there's a market known as Alaba Market, A-L-A-B-A. You can check it out, Alaba Market. Alaba Market sells a lot of, there are a lot of importers in that market. They sell phones, they sell raw materials, they sell spare parts. The market is very huge. Alaba Market is worth over $10 billion in terms of annual sales. Annual commerce that goes on the Alaba Market is over $10 billion per annum. So everybody is scrambling to get a share of that market. There's also the Volks market. There are different markets that offer these services. It's very great for you to understand the market, understand the landscape, be on the ground. So yeah, it's very, very important. And I see that your team is interested in coming into this market. One of the best things you can do is to probably contract an expert who is able to build the team on the ground such that they won't sit in the sophisticated offices. They'll be working from the market. So they'll go in there, they'll do a survey of all the providers that exist in that market. They will go find how they are getting their FX to pay their foreign counterparts. And of course, they're in a position to know the prevalent currency. So in the payment, in the FX market and the crypto market, it's a speculative market. There's no static pricing. Pricing fluctuates over a period of time. Then you now look at the prevalent pricing, how frequently, how successful have these transactions been? Because every day they keep buying, every day they keep paying. So you need to build relationship on the ground, have a dedicated team that just resumes in the market and they close up the market and they give you updates, they get orders from the market. I mean, the first 1 month, most likely you will not get any sale. First 1 month is for you to mop up and get a stand in that market. And also great for you to set up a foot holder in that market where you can even rent a shop. You can set up, instead of setting up an office in a sophisticated place in Lagos, you just get a shop in that same market. Even when you don't sell phones, you're in that market and you just handle, they see you as part of them. Once they see you as part of them, trust is one of the things there. Once they do a transaction with a small amount through you and it's successful, no problem. Your price, your rate is okay. Your efficiency is okay. Then of course they start giving you huge volumes. Once they trust you, like I gave you an example, it's a $10 billion market per annum. So if you're able to move, if you're able to move 1 billion, that means you control 10% of the market. That's, I mean, you know what your margins will be. So it will be great for you to consider that.
Okay, your main point of view is that offline market is much bigger than online market like Jumia, and it's better to go to the offline business who need
Correct.
to import some goods.
Correct.
Is
just like I said, going to these shops, it's very correct. Just like I suggested, you need to get an on-the-ground team, not the online guys. You go into the marketplace, you sit with them in the market, you eat with them in the market, you understand your business model in the market. You can even rent a shop in that market so that they see you as being part of them. They know you're not running away with their money, and then they can test you, they can do a trial of the first set of transactions. So you can give them an option of doing zeroized charge, so no charge on your first transaction, just for them to test that your system is efficient. That's a form of marketing. Then once they are sure your system is efficient, you give them your price, which is prevalent to market rate or cheaper than market rate, but efficiency is very key. They would work with you. But the first 1 month, first 2 months, they just want to understand if you're just a spy or if you've come to the market to stay. And they also want to check if you're efficient. So the first 1 month, 2 months, you probably not get any sales, but you'll be able to get leads. You would have prospects, you have a pipeline of people you can speak with. You have someone who is able to divide and dissect the market, more like market intelligence, tells you the different sectors of the market, what they regularly buy from, the locations they buy from, what they buy, how they pay, what prevalent pricing, and the payment options available. It's a huge opportunity, I say.
Okay, thank you for explanation. Actually, when we talked with you on LinkedIn and when we offer you our services, Lemons, where you can to convert Naira to dollar and to send cross-border remittance, you mentioned that your company already have 3 partners in this area and you don't need this solution for your business, but for individuals it will be interesting. My question, what's the kind of partners your business have which provide this opportunity to convert Naira from Naira to dollar, to make cross-border remittance, and etc.?
Okay, so I mentioned the fact that we have 3 partners. So 3 partners, we have the bank-led model. I already mentioned that we have 3 banks that we have partnered with. I mentioned that on the call. Yes. We also have fintechs, financial technology companies who have a PSSP license or a PSP license. They also have the kind of thing that we do. So when we are unable to meet up certain demands, we route them, and when the banks don't fail us. So at any point in time, we're focused on ensuring that we don't fail the customer. So when we can't deliver directly, our position is not funded enough to deliver, we can route to any of the different partners we have to be sure that we're efficient, and of course, we're able to handle this clearly on behalf of our customers.
You mentioned you work with these 3 partners. What kind of these partners? This is like cheaper cash, payday, or it's something another payment infrastructure?
Okay, so there are clients like Payday. So we don't use Payday. We don't use Payday. Payday is just one of the new ones. There's Fincra. Fincra is there. There's Kura. There's Kura Pay, Kura. Then there's also Quidax. Quidax is
sorry. Can you write in Zoom chat? Can you write on Zoom chat if it's not will be a problem for you? Fincra, Kura. This is 3 partners which your bank is using as an infrastructure partner.
Yes, please. So Quidax does more of crypto.
Does more crypto.
Yeah, while Fincra and Kura does more of the cross-border
remittance
FX transactions. Yes.
Yeah, as well, you mentioned about the Crown Bank. Yeah, Crown Bank. How to write?
Crown Agent Bank.
And can you write your the name of your bank, please? Crown Agent.
Yes, please. So those are the banks. Those are the banks, the players that we use. I mentioned that we have 3 banks that we partner with here in Nigeria. If you don't mind, I won't mention their names, but I mean, these are partners that we have. Those are banks. For obvious reasons, I mean, I would not mention their names on this call.
Okay, I understand. What do you think? What's the biggest problems in payment space when buyers want to buy some goods from the Chinese suppliers and to import it to the Nigeria? What's the biggest problems which has to be solved the first? What do you think?
So you're not in control of the devaluation of the Nigerian currency. So because of the currency differentials, there's been a lot of fluctuations in the market. Speculative pricing has also led to, speculation has led to, increase in pricing of conversion for FX. So it's a lot more expensive for you to convert Naira to USD or any of these other currencies, which is quite sad. But then again, availability of FX has always been a problem in Nigeria, but it's becoming more available, but now more expensive. So you almost pay 1.5x or 2x for what you used to pay. The dollar in Nigeria today at parallel market is about 950 today. The dollar was not this expensive. The dollar used to be about 462. But within this period of 6 months, the dollar has gone 2x. So the cost of assets or the cost of products in the market is a lot expensive. Consumers are not buying as much as they should buy. So they are not, people who import are not importing as much as they should import. So it also affects our numbers and our projection. But overall, the speculation, stability of the currency is a challenge. You can't fix that. I can't fix that. The other problem we see in the market, the shipping, there's been a lot of issues at the ports. The cost of port clearing of items, people now do FOB. The cost of shipping is now very, very, very expensive. So it affects a lot of these trades that happens in the market. But I can tell you that businesses are growing by over 3x. New businesses are coming into the market. So as much as demand from some are reducing, new businesses are coming in.
Okay, thank you for explanation. What do you think, why buyers should to come to your bank? Because I know that on the market, a lot of agents who helps buyers to buy some goods from the Chinese suppliers, and the agent helped to the buyers to deliver, to inspect this kind of goods. What's the difference between your bank and this agent? Why buyers should come exactly to your bank? What's the advantages compared with the agent?
So I just wrote something, relationship. In the chat, I just wrote something, relationship, efficiency. It's very important for people to trust you. Once they trust you in the market, so once there's a relationship, you're efficient and they trust you, they would always do business with you because they're dealing with large sums of money. They won't just go to anybody who doesn't have a guaranteed service, who tells them some stories when they do a transaction. So they need to build a relationship. We understand the market. I understand how the market works. So if you're contracting me, so if you contract me today to help set up a team on the ground, then this is what you want to achieve. Then of course, because I understand the market and I've been able to build some relationship, then of course you would have some people who want to listen to what I have to say and understanding what they do. We have people who we have on the ground. They don't just go to these traders when you want to make a sale. You can go to the shops just to build a relationship with them, to know how the business is going. Sometimes we'll also give them credit when we understand that the money they're expecting to run their business has not come in, but we can give them credit to support what they need to do because they're going to pay back. So relationship is very important. Efficiency is very important, and trust. But like I said, if you want me to consult for you so that you can set up a team on the ground and begin to set up an operation on the ground, I'm happy to have that conversation.
What do you think when the buyers try to buy goods through the agent charge more fee than your bank? The agent is more expensive for the buyers compared with your bank, with your proposal.
It's a tricky one because agents don't handle payments directly. Agents will leverage on a third party to make payments. So some agents get transactions and they bring it to us to make payments. So we are not against agents, right? But when you can deal with us directly, why go through an agent? Then the other side of it, some agents handle other processes beyond payments. So we just handle the payments for you. Agents can handle the tracking of your goods, relationship with the third party, but we just handle your payments. So it's a two-way thing. It depends on what you want in the marketplace and how you achieve it. So yeah, that's it for us.
Okay, I want buyers to come to you to make direct payments to Chinese suppliers, shipment, delivery, inspection. This thing, what company to take? I mean, how buyers ship, inspect, and deliver, clearing the goods which they pay for. Does they to come to the agent for this for solving these questions?
So for goods, like I said, we don't handle the logistics involved. We
Yeah,
just handle
I understand.
Yeah, so basically agents will, I mean, that's a benefit you get from working with an agent. An agent would most likely work on that particular part. But for us, the invoices, we are big on compliance. We're very big on compliance. You need to, I mean, we don't just help people with money. We need to be sure you're providing an invoice for a package or a service that you're getting. We'll validate it and then we share the payment. I have a hard stop at 1:05. That's in 3 minutes time. I dropped the message.
Yeah. I wrote. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote.
Yeah. So I mean,
okay. Okay. Can you say, please? You mentioned that you have online and offline buyers. Can you give what's the proportion of your clients between online and offline? I mean, buyers who would like to import it, goods, and to sell in offline and in online. What's the proportion between these two target audience?
Okay, it's 90% offline. 90% offline. 90%.
Yeah.
Offline. Offline is where the numbers are. Offline is where the business is. Offline is where it is.
What kind of goods offline imported? This raw materials or mostly some electronics? What kind of goods does they import mostly?
Electronics, raw materials, cosmetics. Those are the areas they deal with. Raw materials, yeah, electronics, raw materials, phones, basically under electronics, car parts, car batteries. Yeah.
Okay, 10% online buyers. Do you focus on this 10% because this 10% can to increase and to become 50%, or do you focus on offline exactly because it's much bigger? What do you think about online part?
So as a strategy, the guys who are online have multiple options. So that's it. The guys online have multiple options. They can just go by the internet seamlessly. How can I transfer money to China? And of course, you see multiple options. But the guys offline do larger volumes, but they are more crude. They do larger volumes. They don't want to be very, very visible. They do larger volumes. You don't want to see the people behind those huge numbers. You barely see them. So yeah, that's it. It's just about a minute now. I'm getting a nudge for the meeting.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can always drop me a message. You can always drop me a message. I mean, if you want me to consult for you guys while you come into the market, I mean, I'm happy to do that. Or you can drop me a message so we can take up the conversation.
Okay, thank you for this proposal. Actually, I will send you the first link on our solution, Fintech solution, and we will provide you our account for free for tasting, and it will be interesting your feedback as an expert in Fintech area, what you would like or didn't like, will not like. And after some times, it will be pleasure to talk with you again. I will explain you about our plan, how we are trying to solve this problem for the buyers, if it will be interesting for you.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Sounds great. So I'll wait to hear from you. Then we can take it off from there. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, yes,
so
yes. Now, yes.
Yeah. So I'll wait to hear from you. I'll expect the link. I'll look through it. Then, of course, I'll get back to you on the next steps. But nice conversation, and I wish you to come into the market.
Yes. Thank you for your information, explanation, and your insights. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Have a nice day. Bye.